So my role is I run the engineering and data analytics teams, which means people come with different problems, or we have our own plans and roadmaps, and work with multiple teams to bring it all together from an engineering standpoint, and then work on how to deploy it either our restaurants or in the cloud systems. This was a really fun problem to work through. Fortunately, we've been working on the foundation and the platform where we said, okay, well, we're not quite sure what's going to happen in the future, but we need more off-prem orders to come into the restaurant. And then once they're in the restaurant, we need to be able to route it through the kitchen and back out to the front of the house. And so when this problem was first described, we kind of scratched our head and say, oh yeah, we can do that. And the challenge, of course, is you have 4 drive-through lanes at the bottom, and then the kitchen is above, but nobody's talking to directly. So everything is through, it's optimized for mobile app experience. You're scanning your QR code, which means we have to modify the mobile application. And then the signal goes up that the customer is here, and the food gets dropped on the lift through pneumatic tubes, which is like its own technology, down to the right customer at the right time. So sounds like pretty complicated compared to a regular, like traditional Taco Bell, but having the right platform, the right engineering solutions in place really allowed us to go as quickly as we, as Jared described.
We saw in the video, the AI and the drive-through, but a big part of the transformation at Checkers and Rally's was what went on inside that kitchen, inside the box where the employees work. Can you tell us about that? New back of house design and the new equipment that that the operations and
absolutely the operations team at Checkers, again, in that search for efficiency, trying to not take hours out of the restaurant but make the hours in the restaurant more efficient. They did a study over a long period of time and watched how people worked, watched the routes people would take, how long things would take at certain stations, and did a really in-depth analysis and came up with an entirely new design that really optimized far beyond what I think anyone could have expected. We have one study that shows over a mile of collective steps were reduced per hour with this new kitchen design that we've dubbed Fit Kitchen. So yeah, that went into it. Again, just the idea of making the employee experience better, right? Reducing wasted time, making things more efficient, and ultimately that really, I think, translates well to our customers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll talk more about the employee experience.
All right, cool.
So Scott, take us through Bar Taco and your tech project. You talked a little bit about that, how it came about, testing it in the wild. How did that go?
It was clunky when it started, but the idea, it was during the pandemic, and it was right when the dining rooms were starting to open up at limited capacity, and we were just really looking for. I didn't have any waiters; they were all home, and I was looking for a way to get ordering done at the table and the food delivered. We had our kitchen staff, we had our management, and so we sort of came up with the idea of this QR ordering. We, other restaurants were doing QR menus, which is a PDF, kind of annoying to look through. But our customers had already been trained to order on a paper card, like a sushi card. So we thought it was going to be sort of naturally easy for them just to go digital with it. And even though it was clunky in the beginning, we found it really resonated with the customers. They loved the fact that they could tap the phone and margaritas would show up, and tap the phone and guacamole would show up. So that's sort of the birth of what we're calling on-demand hospitality. So it's still hospitality. You're still getting an experience, but we've sort of leveraged that digital ordering, and we've seen so many benefits from it since then. Our check average has gone up. Our table turn time has gone down. We're able to do a lot more volume in the restaurant. We're actually finding now, as we get to the finer points of it, that we can create these incredible hospitality moments because we have a staff that is salaried, that is really engaged, that wants to take care of the customer, and they're not tied up with taking orders and running back to a POS and punching them in and making mistakes when they do that. So now that process has sort of been pulled out, they can really lean in on sort of the real softer points of hospitality that thrill customers. So it's actually, it continues to amaze me how much better it's getting. And we found that it really resonates with our clientele, which is about average of age of 31, predominantly female. They really like it. It makes sense to them.
Great. So when you talk about what you launched with the on-demand hospitality model, what was that? Was it just the QR code ordering?
Well, so
What is it today? Yeah.
So it's interesting. The way it turned out is, we never brought the waiters back. What happened, and they just, well, we brought some back and we made them salaried employees. We made them service leaders, the ones that wanted to come back. And so we have a whole new labor model now. So what we do is we pay minimum wage to everyone who works for us, hourlies, and they get a cut of the tips. So the average wage is $23 an hour for us. The lowest, I think, is around 19, and the highest is around 35. So we have dishwashers and busboys that are making $50,000 a year working 40 hours a week. That has changed the lives of our kitchen staff. Typical restaurant industry, the kitchen team might make $14 to $16 an hour, whereas the front of the house will make the lion's share of the money through the tips.
Right, yeah.
So now, without having a waiter and having a salaried person sort of leaning in on the hospitality piece, it allows us to take that pool and spread it amongst the team. So what we've created is a leaner model, but also a model where our team makes very good money. And they're also really engaged on the same two things we are, which is making the tip pool as big as it can be, so thrill customers, and making the labor number as low as it can be, because that's the divider. So they're actually holding each other accountable for working hard, because they want to make it lean. So it's a true alignment between us and our staff.
We definitely looked at the customer experience and employee experience, and you have to address both when you try to reimagine the restaurant. I think the restaurant, we privately call it the coolest restaurant in the world. I mean, no offense to all the other hard work, but I thought it was pretty nice, pretty neat. And from a customer standpoint, they want to be in and out as quick as possible, and we always thought, within 90 seconds, the customers should be coming in and leaving with their food. So that's great from a customer. You have to make it work from a team member because they're upstairs. They're separated from this flood of traffic and cars that are coming in. From their standpoint, the order just needs to be very clear. So that you don't have to clarify a lot of things. You don't have to spend your time kind of trying to second guess what it is. So translating that order to the kitchen as accurately as possible was definitely one. All of our kitchen display systems are touch screens. They are at the eye level, so nobody has to crane their necks for 8 hours, kind of looking up in the sky. So it's really the system, everything is swipe and swipe left, swipe right, and you're done. So I think from a team member standpoint, they felt like they had a very modern environment from a technology standpoint, which is not something that existed before. Everything is very easy, color-coded, but very simply color-coded. There's not like 15 different colors. And if you don't know how to make the food, then the guide is right there in front of you. So you just click on the item that you have a question about, and it tells you how to make it. So the training became a lot easier. You don't have to go in the back room and pull out a manual. So everything is on that screen as much as possible.
So it really simplifies their day-to-day and helps them be more efficient and increase that throughput at the...
And creates a future platform for us because, just like an iPhone, Android, the smartphone, the apps appear every day. We can also add more things as we go along to those devices that are already very functional in the store.
Great. And I was hoping that you could share with us, all three of you, some of the key lessons learned, maybe some of the things that you tried that did not work
Sure.
Yeah, so
I
Scott,
had a
let's
lot
start
of
with you.
Had a lot of those. One of the things that we learned early on, and it took us a while to sort of decode this, was once we took waiters out of the equation and left people literally to their own devices, it took a while for us to really figure out how to make sure that they were getting engaged right. The act of having to come up and take an order and a server who wants to build a check because they want a tip is the natural way that most people end up engaging these tables. So now we've kind of taken those away and getting our salaried team really motivated to do this and really celebrating their success at it became really important. So one of the things, in the beginning, we were getting a lot of complaints that, the service, people are just leaving me here with my phone. Like, this isn't why I go to Bar Taco. And they were right. But we had to really build some infrastructure on how to monitor that and how to reward good work and also how to correct negative behavior. And we had to figure out a way to use the data to do it. So we started a reporting system that basically everybody who eats at Bar Taco now will get a little survey at the end, and that ties out directly to that table and to that service leader. So now we're able to stack rank them, and we're able to see real time every single day how they perform with our customer, which is incredible. And now we've really seen guest sentiment go up 30%, 40% since we did that. And we're also able to reward our team for excellent work, which is great.
Awesome, awesome.
I think one of our biggest fear was that the customer was not going to adopt this approach. You can build we built a store that was really optimized for mobile ordering, but will the customer be there? So one of the things that Border Foods did, they're our franchisee that own this restaurant, and really that was a fantastic breakthrough. They actually deployed people outside the restaurant and stopped and kind of talked to the customers and asked them to download the app and explain to them that this is really going to change their experience once they go through this new way. And so training the customers and partnering with us, like technology is one thing, but also working with your customer, understand what they want and why they would go with this particular model. This is something that was just a massive breakthrough for us.
Great.
Yeah, so I think we learned a lot of lessons. I think one of the most important ones is anytime you have a significant change into your operations, introducing new technology, it's probably better to go slow and learn, right? You think about what we did, where orders are coming into the point of sale through a machine versus humans. Humans kind of learn how to optimize. If you've ever seen someone in a quick service enter an order, it's fascinating how quick they can go. And a machine takes time to get there, so orders would come in a little bit different. You start to see sales kind of shift a little bit. So I think one of the most important things we learn is just to kind of analyze data, see if we're seeing things go a different way than what we would expect. I think another interesting lesson is really how important it is to partner with folks throughout the business and make sure that everyone understands what's happening, potential impact to their team, and really being able to set apart time to help a project be successful. Any large technology initiative is not just an IT thing, it spreads across the business very quickly. So I think we learned that early on and had a great response from the team. I could go on, there's a lot of lessons, but I'll stop there.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Great. So before we close, I thought maybe I would ask you to address what are some of the key challenges that you're facing right now? What's next?
Key challenges for us, we really want to move the digitization that we've done in the front of the house to the back of the house. We believe that there's a lot of opportunity we've learned so much from guest data and front of the house performance data. We really want that same data for our kitchen so that we can improve quality and efficiency, and we see a real opportunity there. The other biggest challenge that I have, I think, is I have all this data now, and no full service restaurant has ever had this kind of data. So what do I do with it? And we're trying to be really thoughtful around that and figure out really actionable insights that are useful and ways that we can have really meaningful dialogue digitally with our customers without being 2-for-1s and things like that. So we're really trying to figure out how do we play in this field, and how are we still a full service restaurant that takes care of people the right way, that can use this data in a really meaningful way.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think at the high level, our goals are remove the friction from a customer experience and create the best team experience we can. The technical tools are evolving, and so I think those goals will be with us for the foreseeable future. But the tools at our disposal is where we have to make some decisions, like how deep we move into off-prem ordering, how deep we move with our loyalty programs and customer interactions, and what does that mean going forward. And then on the team member experience, what does automation really bring? I think we talked about robotics, we talked about the natural language processing, computer vision. So all these things are definitely consideration, and we just have to evaluate them against the real business cases and partner with our franchisees to see when and how we're going to bring those technologies into our restaurants. So that I think is like the focus of our work for the next couple of years.
Awesome. And John?
Yeah, I think what you said makes perfect sense too. I think another challenge that we're facing is just the inflationary pressures, right, of the macro environment. So I think from a technology perspective, we'll continue to look at ways to release some of that pressure. I mean, technology by design is deflationary, right? So if you can apply technology in ways that allows people to reallocate hours in the restaurant or find optimization on supply chain, I think we'll spend time there just trying to help ease the burden that's happened, I think, across the industry, and we're certainly seeing it as well.